Today, we are getting right under the skin of one of the most common conditions on the planet, acne. I mean, it affects pretty much everyone at some point, right? But the actual story of how a pimple forms, well, that's a fascinating biological drama that starts deep, deep inside a single tiny pore. Okay, so let's just dive right in. We've all had that moment. You wake up, you look in the mirror, and there it is. And you just have to wonder, what is actually going on under my skin to make that happen? That is the exact question we are going to unpack today. First things first, let's get our terms straight. What we all just call acne is medically known as acne vulgaris, and it's a chronic disorder of something called the pilosebaceous unit. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying a hair follicle and the little oil gland that's attached to it. But here's the most important takeaway. This is a medical condition. It is absolutely not about being dirty or not washing your face enough. So how does this whole process kick off? Well, it turns out a breakout isn't caused by just one thing. It's really more like a perfect storm, a kind of conspiracy of four key things all happening at once inside that tiny pore. You know, the best way to think about how a pimple forms is like a line of dominoes. It's this perfect chain reaction where one event triggers the next, and that triggers the next, leading you from a perfectly happy pore to an inflamed blemish. So let's break down exactly how those four dominoes fall. The very first domino to fall is oil, or as it's technically called, sebum. Sometimes our hormones, especially ones called androgens, can basically hit the accelerator on our oil glands. This sudden overproduction of oil starts to flood the pore, and that creates the perfect setup for what's coming next. Okay, domino number two. This is where we get a kind of cellular traffic jam. The skin cells that line that follicle, they're called keratinocytes, they start to grow way too fast and they get all sticky. So instead of just shedding like they're supposed to, they clump together with all that extra oil and form a plug that literally seals the pore shut. So now you've got this sealed off little cavern full of oil. Well, it turns out this is the absolute perfect home for a type of bacteria that normally just chills out on our skin without causing any trouble, Ketibacterium acnes. In this new oxygen-free, food-rich spot, their population just explodes. And here it is, the final domino. Your body's immune system is not going to just sit by and watch this bacterial party happen. It detects this overgrowth and sounds the alarm, sending in an army of inflammatory cells to fight back. And that battle, that's what causes the redness, the swelling, and the pain that we all recognize as a pimple.